obviously, we know this team. There's always an asterisk next to the team until we talk about injuries and stuff. You got Paul George, McCain's injury, and then Embiid's coming back from injury. That's just usually the looming thing over this team. But if we put that aside, the injuries, what are you most excited about with this season coming, with this roster? And also, what are you most worried about if we just took injuries out of the equation altogether?
I mean, if injuries are out of the equation, I mean, that's, obviously I think that's the number one thing. I think building for the future and how that's going to look. You have, especially on the perimeter, you have some young guys and getting to see them gel. I want to see how that goes. Obviously your number one concern is injuries, but like you said, not speaking on that, I would say it's because of injuries, but it's the lack of continuity going into a season.
Yeah.
Whereas you look at some of the other top teams, majority of those teams have already been together and played a lot together. You're probably our biggest competition right now with injuries and all of that. But in the East would be the Knicks, right? And what's their biggest thing? They've played together.
Yep.
So the continuity, the meshing, we're no different than the team that, Atlanta Hawks that really made one big change. Like if you look at the continuity, we're really no different than them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a concern. And the more we get guys playing and the more we get them back and healthy and the sooner we get more reps together, the more success we can have moving forward.
Yeah. Other than just being excited about seeing this team finally play together on a consistent basis without injuries, that aside, I want to see how we've been such a kind of not old team. I mean, because two of our stars are, getting up there, I guess, but we've always been a ready now team, right? Ready to win now. Whereas I think now we have that element to us, but we also have this development young player side, which we haven't had in a while, right? So I want to see how that goes because you have very different playing styles on the floor with McCain, VJ, Maxey, with speed and pacing. And then you have George and Embiid, more of a ball keeping half court if you want to. So how are they going to adapt? Like, is one side going to adapt to the other side? Or are you going to, play it by matchup? Or are you just going to be able to kind of wear different hats? Are you going to be able just to say, oh, against this matchup, we need to go this lineup and speed it up. Against this matchup, we need to go more half court and slow it down. I'm really, really curious and really excited to see how they do that. I think it'll take a little while because of all the changes and integration with all the different people playing together. But I'm really excited to see the balance. And I just feel like this year is just different than past years. It feels like in the past, we just had more or less the same team minus some tinkering. And we went into the season saying, well, this is what we have. Let's just see how we are this year. Let's roll the dice with the same old two dice. But this year, I just feel like we have a different component to it all. And I want to see how we balance that. As far as what I'm worried about, again, outside of injuries, I feel like we're a bit incomplete. I feel like we never 100% sorted out the four. I feel like that's still a question. I know lately I've been seeing a lot of fans on Twitter want Barlow signed to a standard contract and play him at 4. Is that the answer? I don't know. I don't know if it's on a contending team. So I think that's my big worry. What are we going to do at the 4 for the season? Because I don't think we have a solidified. I feel like we've been talking about that for 2 years, but then Yabu came and looked great at 4, and then we're like, okay, we might have a 4 now, and then he's gone for whatever reasons. So yeah, that's my biggest worry.
Yeah, because I was going to say that's the only worry I had is obviously for taking not talking about injuries is the 4 position. But I did like what I saw from the guys throughout the like in Abu Dhabi and some of the preseason games. Dominic Barlow seems like a really good prospect, a guy who can bang, get rebounds. We haven't seen Watford yet, but I'm really excited about Watford, what he can bring because he does play this kind of point forward kind of role. and he's a big
Why
body.
haven't we seen him? He's injured.
He's injured, yeah, and they don't know when he'll be back. Like at least 2 weeks, so he won't be playing next week.
He was injured in camp.
Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Welcome to Philly, I guess.
Cheesesteak and an injury report. There you go. Wait, where would you get off the plane? Cheesesteak and a cast.
Yeah, it's hamstring injury. Yeah, hamstring stuff is tricky too.
Yeah, man, you don't know what I mean. Yeah, I mean the thing about it is it's not that it's tricky, but it's also different for everyone. You know what I'm saying? So it's what someone could play with it and be back in a week, and someone could take 3 to 4 weeks or 6 weeks.
Yep.
So,
and you don't want to play once too premature and then be out another 2 months on top of that. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I didn't know what was. You know, I didn't really pay attention to the injury. I just hadn't seen him out there in the preseason. You know, y'all know I don't pay attention to preseason like that. But I just didn't know that he was legit. You don't have to be injured to sit out nowadays. I'm just
that's true. That's true. The worry on injury reports is a lot less than it used to be.
So I didn't really know the extent. So thanks for letting me know that.
Yeah, so the with the 4 spot being Barlow and probably Oubre starting at the 4. I've seen like Tony Jones, one of our new writers, our beat reporters, is saying that he'll probably be starting at the 4 at some points this year, or at least in the beginning of the season without Paul George. Yeah. That does it is kind of a worry, since that is like the rebounding has been just a problematic thing for us the last 2 years or last few years. I guess that's the only thing I'm kind of nervous about. Not that Wofford is going to be that much better at it, because I mean his averages over the years haven't been high. He's not a high rebounding guy, but he does give us a versatility to that 4 spot that we haven't had in a while. So
basically, it's not solidified at all.
So the 4, yeah. So I mean, the question, I mean, I guess whoever is at 5 will kind of determine maybe who's at 4.
That's true.
Yeah. And we're going to get into that in a little bit here. But yeah, just interesting. I thought Barlow was pretty solid, though, as far as like a rebounding 4, and he hit a couple of spot up 3s during preseason. Again, it's preseason, but there's a lot to like from what we saw from Barlow. Tonight is the preseason finale, and Joel Embiid will be playing tonight. At first, when I sent the topics out last night, it was more like, what are you looking forward to in this preseason finale? Now it's confirmed that Joel Embiid will be playing tonight. I don't know how much he's going to be playing, but we're going to get to see Joel Embiid for the first time in a while. And I think I just read it's the first preseason game since he's played in since October of 2023. So it's been a while that we've seen Joel Embiid in preseason. What do you make of Joel Embiid playing tonight, and what are you kind of looking forward to in seeing this game tonight, guys?
Well, I mean, I think him playing tells me that they feel he's closer to being ready during the regular season, and they just want to kind of him and they want to see where he's at and how he responds to a game. Like you can do all the practicing and all the workouts you want, but it's nothing that can simulate to a game. So the thing about it is but we'll get to see we've seen enough of Joel. We've seen his dominance that everybody will know when you see it, whether he's close or not. But I think just giving it a shot before the season starts tells me that, like I said, I think he's closer to actually suiting up than maybe we were led to believe. So hopefully it goes well. I mean, hopefully it looks good and it goes well, and it's encouraging for him to get started next week.
First and foremost, it's so interesting because usually, when you're watching a preseason game with your guys, you just want to see them kind of just play well and like shoot well and play like themselves. With Joel, it's just so different because we're just looking to see if he looks right? Like, not even like I don't want to see if he shoots 6 of 10. Like, I don't even care about that. I just want to see how he moves. I just want to see if that looks closer to, what we know him to be, right? I don't want to get my hopes up too much and jump to conclusions because it is his first game action back. But just at the baseline of that, it's great. I mean, it's great news, and it's really encouraging that they feel that comfortable in having him play in a preseason game, right? Because it seems like this time more than other times in the past that he's had a much larger hand in the decision making of the timetable of his return. It seems like he was a little more vocal this time and taking more of a hands-on approach. So if he's saying, if he's playing tonight, then he's saying he's ready to play tonight, which is great. It's basically, instead of saying it, it's in action, right? I'm ready. So, I mean, I want to see how he moves. I want to see how he's used. I want to see how much he plays and for what stretches. I mean, everything, right? Like maximize his minutes as much as possible, other guys on the floor, because we don't know how long we're going to have him out there tonight. So try different combinations, try different rotations, the spacing, make the most of his minutes, ball moving with and without him. I'm just really curious to see everything involving him.
The one thing I've seen from Sixers fans online since this came out that he's playing today, and also Chris Haynes reported last night that he won't be playing back-to-backs this season, which we knew that going into last season. That was the big report, right? Season hadn't begun yet, but Joel will not be playing back-to-backs. So that's what Chris Haynes is reporting, that the back-to-backs seem out the window this year. But the one thing I've seen from Sixers fans online is just because he's playing tonight doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be playing in the opener next Wednesday against the Celtics. What do you make of that, Eric and Tage? Do you think this means he's a lock to play in that Wednesday game, barring everything goes well tonight, or is it just we want to see what he looks like in a game before we even get to the regular season?
I mean, I don't think it's a lock. No, I do not think it's a lock. What I think is it kind of answers questions that people may have, or that they may have, their group may have, about how you feel. Because sometimes you can say, oh, I'm feeling good, or I'm feeling better, or I'm this is what I think. But you actually need a game to kind of determine that. Then we don't really know his mental capacity, his conditioning, his movement. Like you gonna get hit, so you're not playing in practice where people are cautious or gauging how their interactions with you. Like people are trying to take your head off, so we don't really know how he's going to respond to that. So I think it's part of a plan to see where he's at, not necessarily kind of this is where we are and he's back. I just think it's just all part of a plan to see where he's at. I wouldn't be surprised if he played or not played, but if I had to choose one, I would probably say that he would probably not be available next Wednesday. That's what I would say. Because I think the reason why I say that is if I felt that he was going to be available next Wednesday, they would be doing this. They would have done this last week.
That's a good point. They would have started this whole process earlier. It sounds like this is like the ramp-up start, right? I don't want to use the ramp-up terms again.
Yes.
But it sounds like this is like the start of the ramp-up.
And it's a preseason game instead of having him do a trial basis in a regular season game.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see where you're at in the preseason versus the regular season.
So you think it's more about like where he's at? Because I was thinking in two different ways. Like where he's at right now in preparation for Wednesday, or the other side of that is how he's going to react to tonight.
My expectations aren't very high because like I've always told you guys, like you can do all of this training, you can do all this stuff you want to do. The game is different.
Mm-hmm.
Like the reaction time, the going full go, people are banging you. The other teams, especially during the regular season, they're going to game plan to make you move more, to make you guard the pick and roll, pull you out, get you out the paint, like all of those different things. Like you have to play in the game to almost get a feel for how it goes. So I do think that this will kind of help give okay, how did you feel when you did it? Or how did you feel when you did this? So now that could be part of the plan where, okay, well, he struggles with a lateral movement. Okay, we've got to work on the lateral movement. So his conditioning was, okay, we got to work on this condition. So it kind of helps them kind of work on the plan or enhance the plan or for whatever plan he's on. I don't know what plan he's on. I'm just saying that some games will answer more questions than the practice or the workouts, because the little game film that I seen that they said he played in was very slow movement, very slow reaction time. So you didn't know if it was choppy. It wasn't consecutive. So that kind of viewing that told me that he's working to get there, but it's more time needed.
What are you going to be looking at in particular as far as movements go out there? Like, is there I know someone said earlier, talked about, can movement, pivoting, stop starts. That's a great question. Great comment. Is there anything specifically in that list or out of that list that you're going to be looking at to see how he does?
Well, I mean, conditioning is number one. The reason why conditioning is number one, because a lot of times people get injured because they aren't very well conditioned.
True.
And conditioning, most people think conditioning, you think, well, you're tired. But a lot of conditioning is the strength of your body.
Yeah.
Being able to maintain that level of play, of playing competitive basketball at the highest level. So that, I believe that's number one. Yes, the movement as far as defending people, pick and roll defense, rebounding out of his range. If he's able to do that, I believe he can score. He's already proven he can score on one leg. So that I know he can do. But it's all of those different things where teams are going to try to take advantage of where you are. So I would say the reaction time, movement, landing, and the conditioning is all I'm interested to see, like, where he's at.
So I think you kind of referenced it, but the blue and white scrimmage, the one they had like last week, that that's more of like pretty much a practice. Not really that's not really game shape. Or you're not really looking at game.
Yeah, I didn't. That's what I'm saying. That's the thing that they kind of show, but I didn't take that to be how a game would really be. Let's put it that way.
Right. Interesting. So obviously Embiid's the headline tonight. Grimes will be making his return to Philadelphia tonight in the lineup tonight, as I just saw an hour ago. So Grimes, Maxey. What are you going to be looking at from the guards and some of the new faces in this preseason finale tonight?
Well, I mean, first off, the guards. Unfortunately, McCain is injured, but I'm excited about the guards. I mean, you got a nice young group that can grow together. I know they can score. But I want to challenge them to, I would say not listening to me, but I would like to see them be scrappy, defend more, put pressure on teams, push the ball offensively, but also pressure them defensively. Be a havoc on both sides of the ball, because I think they have the athletic ability, talent, and the depth to do that. So hopefully that's kind of who we are. That after seeing the Pacers pick up full court and get to the finals, I don't know why we can't do that with the guys that we have on the perimeter. Yeah, we can't be that type of team. So I challenge those guys to be that, and rotate who's doing it or rotate who's pressuring out top. But I think we have the depth to be that type of team defensively, and then those guys that continue to attack and share the ball and ball movement and create opportunities getting into the paint to make it easier for everyone.
Tej, what are you looking at tonight?
I want to see in kind of relation to Embiid, not specifically about Embiid, but how they kind of play around him. Are they going to, because they play so much without him and just in the offseason period, right? So I just want to see if they kind of, how those two meet. Are they going to kind of, I know Nurse has talked about passing the ball, getting out of people's hands, but that's easier said than done when you have Joel back there, right? I wonder how much of it's going to be ball watching with Embiid and how much they're going to how much ball movement we're actually going to see with these players, because I'm very curious about that.
Yeah, I know Eric Gordon said he couldn't wait to play with Embiid. He said I can't remember even playing with him but I remember when I came to Philadelphia, being able to play with a guy like that, it was going to open up a game for me as well as him. And that's a guy who's going to be deep on our bench. He's excited to play with Embiid. So a lot of guys haven't played with him yet. I mean, I think Grimes is going to play maybe one game with him last year.
Man, yeah.
So there's could be a learning curve for sure.